We're plus 3 days from the election, and already hard buyer's remorse is settling in, and people want to retrade. And who could blame them? Since Tuesday alone, the top billionaires that support Donald Trump that are going to be coming into the White House along with them have made $100 billion. That's billion with a B since Tuesday, because their fortunes have always been tied. The only reason they supported Donald Trump in the first place was to increase and line their pockets, and now to the tune of $100 billion. And I defy anyone who voted for Donald Trump, anyone, to tell me how their life was made better since Tuesday by voting for Donald Trump. But I will tell you how the 3 or 4 people who are going into the White House with Donald Trump, including Donald Trump, are now in $100 billion better position. And then I'm going to talk about what do we do about it. Let's do Trump's net worth just based on Truth Social, even though his platform, his publicly traded company, reported again another $40 million of monthly loss, $120 million or so in a quarter, with no hope in sight of ever making a dollar. It shot up over 35% since Tuesday, making Donald Trump's net worth go up by about 40% in total. But that's nothing compared to Elon Musk. Before Tuesday, he was worth $257 billion. Today, 3 days later, $300 billion. Howard Lutnick, the transition chair, who's getting all excited about the next Trump presidency, his net worth alone since Tuesday went up 15%. Dogecoin, the cryptocurrency that Elon Musk supports. And in fact, he named his new department that he's going to be in charge of, all foreign policy, all financial markets policy in the Trump administration, the Department of Government Efficiency, Dogecoin itself, which is a cryptocurrency, a digital asset, it's up 20% since Tuesday. Bitcoin is up 12%. Another investment strategy of Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Howard Lutnick. Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Remember, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, but he's also best friends with Ivanka and Jared. They live next door to each other in Indian Creek, Miami Beach, Florida. His net worth, since he decided to kill the endorsement of Kamala Harris, is up 5% since Tuesday. And Chase Bank, headed by Jamie Dimon, who's supposed to be the Treasury Secretary for Donald Trump and early on sided with him, his net worth is up over 6%. I defy anybody else on this network or on this channel to tell me how $1 of their entitlement programs they rely on, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, after-school programs, chip manufacturing, infrastructure, was made better by Donald Trump becoming president. Look, I get this is I'm talking here to both the Democrats who stayed home, because we know that Kamala Harris got less Joe Biden votes than Joe Biden did, less Democratic votes everywhere. There was a suppression of 15 or 20% of the Democratic vote. I'm talking to them and to the people that just decided to hold their nose and vote for Donald Trump. When he gets into office, and if we're not successful in the things that we're outlining here on Legal AF to fight him in the courts to stop the changes that he wants, and he implements things that he's responsible for, like a trade war with China, allows more tax cuts to go to the billionaires in this country, which ends up being a deficit that you, me, my child, and grandchildren are going to pay for, that's going to triple from $3 trillion to $6 trillion by the time Donald Trump gets out of office. He's not going to fix what's broken. He's going to break what's fixed. Let me just repeat that. Kamala Harris should have turned it back on him, but she didn't. He's going to break what was already fixed, not fixed what was broken. In cutting, when you hear Elon Musk, who's effectively going to be responsible for 50% of the presidency. Let me repeat that. Elon Musk is going to be the co-president. He's going to be given the remit and the mandate to control the budget, foreign policy, and everything related to financial markets. And he will be picking those people that are responsible for the Secretary of State position, the defense position, because that's where he gets his government contracts from. And he wants to multiply that and enhance that from $3 billion now to $6 billion or more, $10 billion when he's in office. And he's going to be responsible for selecting and deregulating the financial markets, including the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Internal Revenue Service, and all of that. So when he's doing all of that, right? And he says he's going to go cut trillions of dollars from the government budget, that means entitlements. That means Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, student loans, family assistance, after-school programs, the Education Department, the Food and Drug Administration. I could go on. That is what impacts voters on a day-to-day basis. That is closest to their lives. And instead, they decided that the thing that was the most important to them, the most important thing, was not their job creation, their jobs, their mortgages, their rent, their food costs, how are they going to put their kids through school, how are they going to retire, and on what? They decided that the most important thing is to make sure that people that are moving from one gender to the next don't play against women in high school and college sports. Because apparently that was keeping them up at night. Their hair was on fire. That was what was keeping people up at night at 4 o'clock in the morning. Whether the person that just became a woman through surgery or otherwise is now playing against another woman in a college or high school sport. And if they weren't worried about that, they were worried about the hardworking Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, and whether they were eating the pets. Okay, look, I get that Donald Trump tapped into some sort of victim persona that people have who want to blame whatever's going on in their life on somebody else. I'm not doing well enough. This is the bro vote. I could do better. I could make more money. I'm entitled. I'm a snowflake. I want it all. And I want to blame somebody when it's not happening. It must be the Haitian immigrant. It must be the person coming through the Mexican border. That's why I'm paying more for my Chipotle. That's why gas is 1% less than it was last month. Okay? That's not an election. That's not an election criteria, who you vote for. That's something you need a lifetime of therapy or maybe ayahuasca or a gummy to resolve. But instead they decided to pull the switch for Donald Trump because he's going to fix what was broken. He's going to break what was fixed. And now we got to crush him in the midterms once you wake up and figure that out. During the Biden-Harris administration, let me remind those people who voted for Trump, they used the stimulus package to restart the dead economy and put money in people's pockets and course it through the veins of the economy to restart it. Okay? $1 trillion got handed out in programs to people and institutions to restart the heart of the economy. That was the Biden-Harris administration. The job market is roaring. The infrastructure redevelopment roaring, which will pay dividends into the future. Stock market, great. Inflation, down. Unemployment rate, way down. Taxes and tax base, not raised, but stable. Public education, fine. Healthcare, seems great. Immigration, could be better. Could be more dignified. If Donald Trump hadn't killed the policy 6 months ago for his own political purposes, it would have already been majorly resolved. The border crisis has already been resolved under the Biden administration through executive orders. Transgender people who are transitioning, who are playing sports, that's the thing that needed to be fixed. And now you're going to add trillions in debt for tax cuts for the billionaires, what we can't afford. Cut trillions from social programs that help average Americans. The people that voted for Donald Trump thought it was in their best interest. Social Security, food stamps, nutrition, food and drug, that we also can't afford. Your own, and I'm talking to those that voted for Trump, your own personal sense of self that you feel aggrieved and this victimhood, that's therapy. That's not you vote for Donald Trump. And now we, the collective, this community on Legal AF, on the Midas Touch Network, now we got to dig out from the hole and clean the Aegean stables, right? With all the manure, clean up behind the elephants now that were created by our fellow Americans who decided it would be fun to send Donald Trump back in and see what happens. Well, I know what's going to happen. You know, if he starts a trade war with China, add it to the trade deficit and the national debt. And every time something's added to the national debt, it increases the costs of our ability to borrow, to pay and fund for things. It's one less dollar that goes into people's pockets for something that matters, either on the domestic budget side or the military budget side. All right? Now, I get it. It happens. I've lived through the red wave before. I've lived through I was in college when Reagan swept every state but Minnesota. And everybody thought Reaganomics was great. Oh, it's the trickle-down theory. Benefit the wealthy 1%. It'll trickle down eventually. Things trickled down, but it wasn't money. And that was the problem. Now, it's not too late for people. It's too late for this election. But we are now one day closer to the midterms than we were yesterday, and 3 days closer than Tuesday. So now we've got to have now that everybody woke up and go, whoa, he won? Yeah, he won. And now we got to do something about it. Fortunately, on Legal AF, where you're already at, by the way, as long as I'm taking a moment here, hit the subscribe button. There's a reason, it's not ego, that we're building this channel to get ready for the 1,000 lawsuits that states and public interest groups like the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, New York, California, Illinois, New Mexico, and others are going to be filing against the Trump administration the way they did the last time. And you're going to want to be here to learn about it, hear about it, and for me to break it down for you along with the other collaborators. Take a minute, build this channel, make it durable, sustainable. We didn't just build the Midas Touch Network or the Legal AF channel in case of great and fair weather. We're not fair weather analysts. We built the channel. We built Legal AF to be here through thick or through thin, through good times and bad, through good weather and bad weather. We're like the Postal Service. Through rain and sleet and dark of night, nothing will stop us from delivering our analysis and keeping this community together. And we will survive Tuesday, but it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of focus, and it's going to take a lot of energy. I have it. I know my community has it. I know this audience has it. And we're going to help direct it, right? And focus it in the courts with the lawsuits. 1,000 of them. That's how many were filed the last time Trump was in office. Double it. Make it 2,000. We know how to file them. We know what to file it under. And we know the constitutional provisions and the laws to use to flip it on Donald Trump and pin him down. My goal is to make Donald Trump lame duck day one. Okay? He's done a lot of firsts. First twice impeached president ever to run for office and get reelected. Second guy to ever get elected after losing. After Grover Cleveland, of all people. First convicted felon yet to be sentenced to be reelected or elected president. But here's another first. He's only got one term. He can do a lot of damage in one term. That's why we got to pin him in. It's like Gulliver's Travels, and we're the Lilliputians. We have to get together and tie him down and nail him to the beach, like Gulliver. We can do it together and collectively. The legal strategy is relatively straightforward. File the lawsuits against every executive order he passes on January the 20th and beyond that go beyond the scope of the law, the Administrative Procedures Act, the Constitution. Same thing when they finally they start the engine of MAGA Congress again and try to get anything passed. Let's see what happens. They didn't get anything passed the last time. Zero. It was the most do-nothing Congress we've ever had. I'm banking on that again. I almost want MAGA to be in the majority. First of all, it's going to be such a slim majority, they're going to have to use the Democrats to get anything passed that matters. Debt ceiling, the rest. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat, might as well be the Speaker of the House or the co-Speaker of the House. So they'll get nothing done. Even with Donald Trump waiting to sign bills. I'm waiting here. Just bring me the bill. Yeah, they got to get the bill out of Congress. The Senate, we're going to be in the minority. But there's powers there. There's minority reports that can be written. There's ways to gum up investigations. And there's the filibuster that we're going to have to use against the most extreme federal judge, cabinet members, executive officer appointments. Period. So we got all that going on as the rest of America getting past now in the hangover stage, right? Drunk with adulation and power on Tuesday, and now waking up to reality. I always say in campaigns, you campaign with poetry, but you have to govern with prose. And when they get into the prose, they're going to realize their life is worse off, not better off, because Donald Trump's in office, just like it was before. He's not going to fix what's broken. He's going to break what was fixed. That's what Biden did and Harris did. Sure, they were terrible salespeople to take credit for it. So people understood the talking points of how well everything was going. And instead, they allowed other people to say, well, eggs and price gouging's going on. And by the way, that has to be fixed. Prescription drug gouging got fixed by the Biden administration. And the rest would have been too. Donald Trump's not going to do that. He's controlled by oligarchs. I just told you they made $100 billion since Tuesday. You think their life is worse off? It's better off. They had their list and their agenda. Elon Musk's agenda was, I want to be in charge of the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, everything foreign policy. I want to give my company lots of new contracts with the government and military industrial complex. Right? I want to get regulators off my ass, and I want cryptocurrency to go through the roof. Ta-da! Here we are. How did that help anybody else? That Elon Musk went from $257 billion to $300 billion overnight. How did that help you? You know? That the Wall Street tycoon that's running Donald Trump's transition team, that he made another 30, 40, 50, 80, $100 million, repaid his $75 million investment in Donald Trump's campaign overnight. How does that help you? It doesn't, right? Is this a country for Wall Street, or is this a country of Main Street? All right, so look, the point of this particular hot take is buyer's remorse. And we take advantage of it as we move towards the midterms politically. And legally, the legal is sort of if we're thinking about this as a sports team, the legal part here on Legal AF, the intersection of law and politics, the law part is the defense. We have to defend. We have to keep the other side, Donald Trump, MAGA, Project 2025, from running up the score. Keep the score down, one touchdown or less, one successful score or less during the first 2 years till we get to the midterms. It's possible. We've done it before. We'll do it again. That's defense. Offense happens in Congress. That is the Democrats having a united front like they did the last Congress, and to hold back and make sure nothing gets passed except the things that matter, like keeping the government running and the debt ceiling and that type of thing. That's offense. Together, you got a winning strategy. And we're going to follow it, and we're going to promote it, and we're going to use public sentiment targeted at the right places. They're already marching in the streets of New York and other places about Donald Trump's victory. They're already marching about women's rights again. Now, people woke up and said, wow, he won. Wait till they see their self-interest set aflame by Donald Trump. You're a union member that voted for Donald Trump. Wait till he changes the National Labor Relations Board and destroys unions as we know them. That was not in your self-interest to vote for Donald Trump in that regard. Anybody that's in a union household that voted for Donald Trump makes absolutely no sense, completely against your own self-interests, right? You own a big business. You're regulated by federal regulators. Hooray! You wanted Donald Trump. You owe a lot of taxes. You don't want to pay a couple cents more. Hooray! You won. Is that 80%, 90% of America? It is not. And now when they wake up, I want them to have a home. I want everybody that's going to wake up and realize they've been had, right? It's like that song by The Heavy, How Do You Like Me Now? When they wake up and they realize they've been had, what was I thinking? I was delusional. He said he was a victim. I feel like I'm a victim. We're victims together. Let's vote. Yeah, no. When you have a home to come back to. Midas Touch Network, subscribe. Legal AF, build the channel with me. Subscribe. Stay here. Learn, grow, activate, and we will explain it to you. It's going to be a lot. When we founded Legal AF 4.5 years ago, as I said, we didn't think, oh, well, as soon as Biden is followed by Biden, 2 terms of Biden, we're done. We could turn off the lights. No, we built this to be a durable institution as an independent network and channel, to be the counterweight to all corporate media, and to do legal analysis and commentary at the intersection of law and politics like no other. And that's why we get 50 million people a month watching us, even now. Better now, more importantly now. And I appreciate every one of you, every one of you. I'll be frank. Tuesday night, we lost some subscribers. We lost 3,000 or 4,000. They all came back and more. We're up 8,000 since Tuesday, net 8,000 new subscribers. That is impressive. That's not me. That's you. I'm doing my part, curating the channel. You're doing your part, committing, locking arms, shoulder to shoulder. We have a plan. We have the offense in Congress. We have the defense in the litigation. We have the game plan, and we have the other side's playbook. We've got Project 2025. We know what's in the pile of first-day executive orders by Donald Trump. We know what's being proposed in Congress to pass as law. We know where he wants to attack. Right? And on things we can agree, there'll be a couple. Maybe some sort of humane, dignified immigration reform. Maybe. The problem is we're negotiating with people who want to separate families and put kids in cages. Sort of as hard, we're one party short there in dignified adult conversation. But we will do what we can to benefit the American people. See, Democrats, progressives, independents, we don't want a totally shitty next 4 years or next 2 years. We want progress. I don't want to tank the economy. I don't want to tank the stock market, people's retirement funds. I also don't want to tank entitlements and social programs. So come here. Feel at home here. Bring others here. Because we appreciate you. We honor you. Every day, every way, every hour on Legal AF on this YouTube channel. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok, and this is the Legal AF YouTube channel. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.